what it costs to get into paragliding. SAFA. You got to jump onto SAFA. The first cost is $25.
Whatever.
G'day, Jake here. We're going to talk today about what it costs to get into paragliding. What's it going to cost you to get to what they call a PG2 certificate, which allows you to fly by yourself. So the training, the gear, the minimum gear you need, and then we can talk about the extra stuff that you can buy as well. So minimum cost and maximum cost. And we're going to be pretty transparent about it. There's a few little hidden costs. And I know these costs pretty well because I've just gone through that training process and I've just become a PG2 pilot. I'm almost at PG3, so I'm starting to see what some of those other costs are as you progress through to the next license. Just quickly before we get into the numbers, I want to share a little bonus about paragliding that I learnt early on. It was really cool when I realised this. Let's go up to my ute and I'll show you. See that? That's paraglider. And there's the harness. So, point is, everything I need to fly sits in the back of my ute. So I was driving along one day and I looked in the back seat and just thought, how cool is it that I have the power of flight in my back seat? And it's gave me this sense of adventure. And now I never leave home without it. It's always in the back seat and I always have that sense of anything could happen today, I could be flying. That's really cool. I love it. So here's some of the gear laid out, and what we're going to do, we're going to go through this in order. First cost you're going to encounter is the SAFA. You're going to jump onto SAFA, which is a part of CASA. You'll figure that out. Jump on there, have a look. The first cost is $25 to get your SAFA membership for a PG1 student. Your next cost is a course. You need to book a course. You cannot learn paragliding on your own. If you try, you are an idiot. So you need to sign up with a licensed instructor and do a course. You can't figure this stuff out on your own. Now, I'm someone that likes to take risks and I like to figure stuff out on my own, but this is one, you cannot do it. Do not even attempt it. And the other thing is, if you do try and learn on your own, as soon as you rock up to somewhere that's decent, that's flyable and safe, the safety pilots there, they're going to see you, not know who you are, they're going to ask questions, you're not going to get to fly, they'll attack you. That's not happening because you'll be unsafe to other people launching and landing and flying. So that is inevitable. The cost to learn is going to be $2,300. Your next cost, which I think is really worth adding in there early on, is a second-hand ground handling glider, is what we call. So it's a real trashed glider that's done its time in the air, can't fly with it anymore, and it'll cost you about $250. And this is me just using it for ground handling and jumping off little slopes to practice. The glider is going to cost you around $4,000. The harness we've got here is going to cost you around $1,100. Something that's really important that you need to think about is the reserve. So this here, I pull this handle and out pops a reserve parachute that's been fit under there. Get the guy that teaches you to fit that, like you want to get a professional to fit it, is what I'm saying. The next one is helmet. I don't think it really matters too much what helmet you get, just needs to be smooth. I tried to use my rock climbing helmet, has little lugs sticking out. What happens, they get caught in the glider and it ends in tears always. I got dragged by my head. Next one is the bags. Here's bag number one. Now, this is the bag that the actual harness and your glider will fit into. So if you land somewhere and no one's around to pick you up, you need to be able to stuff both these things into a bag to hike with it. So this is probably the first and most important bag. But for me, I love this bag the most. It's called the Constantiner Bag. Now, I think this is equally as important because it's very hard to pack up your glider neatly without this bag. And what this bag allows you to do is to protect the cells, which we won't get into now, but the top of the glider has these delicate cells that you don't want to bend up. So really important bag, makes life really easy. So this bag here, this first bag, is probably about 180 to 200 bucks. The Constantiner bag is about 150 bucks. And then this bag here, it's got a great name, the stuff sack. Just stuff it in there. It's got a big opening. So when you're at the top of the hill, you're gonna fly again, you just bunch it all up and shove it in there away you go. Radio. Don't do what I did and just go out and buy this from anywhere. This is probably the radio you do want, the IC41 Pro, but you want to buy it from the guy who is going to organize the channel on here, the SAFA channels that you need. About 300 bucks. A hook knife. Look, hopefully you'll never need this. I think it's good to have. This is basically if you ever did land in water and you got tangled up in your glider. If you land in the surf, good luck with this. Be nice to have, but you're most likely going to die. You just get tangled up and you're just a goner. But if you landed in a lake and you did start to get tangled up, this is really good. They basically just run it up your leg or whatever you're tangled up in and cuts all the lines away. Another little good one to get is a wind meter. So I found this really helpful. I'd rock up to a location and I'd try to guess what the wind was doing, what the exact speed was in kilometers or in knots. And this just allowed me to confirm it. It also allowed me to know when it's too windy and just to call it quits. So really worthwhile, about 75 bucks. This one was probably my favorite toy to buy. So this is called an altimeter. This just straps to your leg, or sometimes you can install it into a cockpit that sits in front of you like an oversized bum bag. And basically the main thing that this does is tell you your height, your altitude. I think that's why they call it an altimeter. It's really cool. It makes this really nice little noise when you're going up, this real happy noise, and makes a really sad noise when you're going down. So that was 630 bucks. I really recommend that brand, Flymaster. They go well. Okay, let's quickly go through it. So the costs to become a pilot. So to become a PG1 pilot, here's the total. 25 bucks, your PG1. PG2, these are the costs. 9-day course. Second-hand glider, I feel like is a must because it helps you do ground handling and really helps you with taking in all those critical skills. And then your membership to become a PG2 pilot, you do the exams and whatever with your guy running the course. So your cost for that is $2,800, and here's your running total. So to get to PG2, almost $3,000. Now I've written a little note here to remind me hidden costs. So in this course, depending on whether you have to go away to do the course, time off work, etc., you can work that out yourself. There might be another potentially $5,000 of hidden costs there. Now, this is the one that excites me. This is I'm almost at this point, almost at PG3, so that I can rock up to a site and just fly and not have to check in with the safety officer and that type of thing. So here's the first chunks of costs. If we look down there, what's that? $6,000. That's what you're going to have to spend straight away. As soon as you enter into this zone, you're going to need a glider, you're going to need a harness, you're going to need a reserve, and you're going to need a helmet. Straight away, $6,000. So $3,000 and $6,000, $9,000. Then we get into the extras, the flight computer. I still feel like you're going to need all of these items to progress and really get your license, the PG3 license. So PG2, flying supervised under your instructor, $3,000. This is the fun stuff here. Total cost to get to PG3, 11, just over $11,500. plus those hidden costs. Now, one here I didn't mention in the other parts of the video is the books. The other one is a thermaling course. So I believe you're going to need to do an extra little course to equip you from this course to get to PG3. So I'll talk more about that in another video, but there's just another couple little costs there. Hope that helps. Cheers, guys.